my head becoming blurred by so much said. I'm in too deep waters I tread, can't catch my breath. A shadow chasing me, a game of hide and seek. If I'll never have a peace. Hi, welcome everybody to another edition of Deconversion Stories. I apologize in advance for my voice today as I put a little extra oomph into band practice today because we were writing a new tune and we're kind of working on that, and there's some screamy parts in it. So I'm a little on the raspy side today, we'll say. But that's okay. Raspy voices are good in music.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's what I hear anyways. Today I have my good friend Madam Who over here, who has joined us for an episode, has been in a few of the after parties already, and I met her at Faithless Forum.
Yes.
Live in person.
Yeah, I know.
You have, like, the coolest hat like ever. So
it's impressive.
Yeah.
There's a reason I wear hats, though. I'll tell you after a while.
Oh, all right, sure.
Speaking of the Faithless Forum, I had the best gin and tonic of my life there.
Oh, wow.
Seriously.
Really?
Yeah.
Awesome.
At the bar.
Yeah,
they had some kind of like oak aged gin. I was like, yeah,
nice.
You can put that in there, whatever. And I was like, oh my God, it's so good.
Sounds pretty good to me. I'm not much of a gin guy. I'm pretty much, when I was able to drink back in those days, I was pretty much a single malt Scotch guy, or just, the various types of beers.
Yeah.
But anyways, Madam Who, you know what I do here? I chat with folks about their journeys away from whatever faith systems they were once a part of. So I kind of like people to take us back into the days when they were a believer and how those dominoes started falling and you find your way out. And then, of course, we get to hear one of your tunes that's on your now out EP.
Yeah.
So that's going to be pretty cool too. I think we'll talk a little bit about music as well. So I'll leave it to you. And when I have something stupid to say, you'll see me wave or something. And or Mikey too might have something dumb to say too, or a question to ask.
Well,
equally dumb.
And you guys don't say anything dumb.
Oh well, thanks. My mom says nice things about me too.
Mine doesn't.
Okay, so we commence then. You okay? Okay.
Mikey tried to make water come out my nose. That's all.
Oh, Mikey.
I'm sorry, Mom. I'm sorry, Madam Who.
Yeah, my best friend used to do that all the time. I mean, I just couldn't even take a drink when I was driving because I would have to pull over. But anyway, so I'm Madam Who, and I grew up a Southern Baptist.
Oh boy. Yeah.
In fact, today we were filming some bits of my song I Am Enough, the video to I Am Enough, because we did the dancing parts this weekend. And there's this one verse that says, when I was young, my family's church and me, we had a difference of opinion on eternity. They said I needed to believe every word they said or I wouldn't get God's love. So my daughter, who is my younger self, right? She's the younger me, had her dress up just like me. And then my boyfriend, who is a part-time actor, he was the preacher. And so I told him to dress in, he grew up Catholic. So I told him to dress up like a preacher. And we discussed it beforehand. He was going to go with the collar. I'm like, no, not a priest, a preacher. He said, oh, and I have a button-up shirt, red tie, slick back hair. And then he shows up and he has jeans.
Bible in one hand.
Yes, Bible in the hand. We got the Bible, but he had jeans on. And I was like, I guess I'll have to film you from the waist up.
Preacher, not youth pastor.
Okay, not youth pastor, right?
CGI some shit in there or something? Or?
Yeah, I'm not that sophisticated. Okay, so anyway, Southern Baptist. It probably starts, in my family, it starts with my grandmother back in 1943. Her, she lived in
Good
the
old days, huh?
North Carolina. There's no electricity anywhere. You had to walk 5 miles to school, that whole thing. And then just like almost literally. And she never went to church. Her family didn't go to church. But when she was 13, her uncle took her to a Baptist church. And from then on, she was Dana Carvey's church lady.
Nice.
Seriously, I think they could have
Isn't that
done.
precious?
See.
Yes, except she wasn't that judgmental to members who people who weren't members of her family. Like anybody who was just in the church, and she would just keep quiet. But if you were doing something that wasn't exactly right in your family, forget it. For instance, my mom, who's my dad is my grandmother's son. So my mom married him, and they didn't drink at all. You couldn't drink, teetotalers. And one New Year's Eve, my mom bought one of those sparkling Welch's grape juice things and put it on the top of the refrigerator. And Mama came in and saw it and just assumed that it was some sort of alcohol and freaked out. And
Wow.
my mom was just devastated. Her mother-in-law. So anyway, it starts with her. So she's the church lady, and my dad was the firstborn, and so she raised them all in the church, and you had to go to, every time the church doors were open, they were there. Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday was Bible study and choir practice, but no choir. They were not musically talented. So when I came along, so I remember looking at my mom and dad's wedding album, right? And I was the firstborn, like I said. And every time my mom would look at these pictures, I was like 4 or 5 or something. I can remember this, though. She would say, "Oh, your grandmother, she just ruined my wedding pictures," because she and Papa were sitting there like Mom, Pa, Kettle, just
with a pitchfork and everything.
They should have had a pitchfork. They should have, but they were just standing like, they weren't smiling. They were almost grimacing, but not quite. They didn't look like they were happy. Okay. But my mom's parents, they're all like, yeah, party. Well, little did I know, because I'm the firstborn, and I was born 2 years after they were married. Well, it was a shotgun wedding.
No.
Yeah. And she lost it on the honeymoon. And I had no idea. Yeah. So that's why, that's forbidden, of course. Her firstborn was, wooed away by some loose woman. Anyway, so of course, me and my 3 siblings after me, we were all expected to go to church where Mama went to church, and it was a missionary Baptist church. Okay. I did not like going to church. I hated going to church. But I think one of my first memories of church was that candy. Do you remember like these boxes of like Cracker Jack candy from the 70s? Oh, you didn't go to it. You were Jewish, right?
I know what boxes. My dad used to eat that shit all the time, so I know all about it.
They were like Cracker Jack boxes. You would get it like Christmases and Easter, and they had the worst licorice tasting hard candies, like just stuck together. And just horrible. And I also remember sitting on the lap of some old man. Must have been 3 or 4. Some old man in the lobby, and there was this throne in the lobby, golden throne with red velvet, and I guess somebody put me there. But anyway, so I hated going to church. Not only was it half an hour away, which in kid time is like 2 hours.
It's an eternity.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Kid time is 2 hours. I had to wear these uncomfortable little patent leather shoes and
Nice.
white stockings, and and they were so uncomfortable. Like the waistband just dug into my fat little waist when I was before, and it was so uncomfortable. And then I had to wear a dress. I didn't like wearing dresses because I was a gymnast, and no matter what I wore, I was doing handstands and cartwheels. And I think my mom only yelled at me when I was wearing a dress, doing cartwheels,
Really?
right?
Oh, yes. Well, yeah.
Probably had on underwear, probably.
I like how there's a lack of confidence in that statement.
Yeah. So we went to that church. It was a missionary Baptist church. And so it's 7 years old. I felt the calling to be saved. Every single Sunday they were doing altar call. I mean, every single Sunday. So finally I was just like, I think it's time. And so I walked up to the front, and Mamaw came by with me and my dad, and we're all praying together. And I remember that very clearly, but I was just kind of like expected to, like I was going through the motions kind of, because I grew up I was born skeptical, because I didn't even believe that my parents were my parents.
What? Really?
Yeah. I didn't have any older siblings to, vouch that mom's got a big belly, and then you came home from the hospital. I just thought everybody, and I saw Mr. Rogers. Mr. Rogers, I think, gave me the idea that I could be adopted. So I asked my mom if I were adopted so many times that she started saying, yes, Audra,
Shut up. Yeah.
you're adopted. You're an albino pygmy from Australia.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So when I was, it could even been after I was saved. Saved.
Yeah. From what?
From what they tell you, right?
Right. What I'm going to do if you don't let me save you.
Exactly. So I would, it was an hour sermon. Sometimes they were an hour and a half. And I'm a little kid. And there was no kids' church. It was like everybody in this big sanctuarium. And, kids can't sit still. And my dad would go,
Kids, I can't sit still. What are you talking about?
Yeah. And that meant I better stop and sit still. Well, if he did that too many times, he picked me up over his shoulder and took me downstairs and spanked me and covered my mouth so I couldn't cry, so nobody upstairs could.
What? No way.
Listen, I forgive him. He was only 27, so you don't know what you're doing when you're 27. He was just doing what his mom did. He's cool now.
I hope so.
I'm over it. But he did it pretty often. That's another reason why I hated going to church. And my dresses were so cold, and my brother wore pants, and why can't I wear pants? And my mom's like, well, it's just not respectful. My mom had a lot of answers for stuff.
What the hell does that even mean?
Yeah, I know. I think I must have asked her lots of times, because after a while, I must have been a teenager at this point, but I was like, why in the world does God care if there's a piece of fabric between my legs? Why? Yeah. So anyway, I also used to ask my mom if I remember this very clearly, if Jesus and Santa were the same thing, because, they were both like really nice guys who gave you presents. Jesus gave you everlasting life, right? And Santa comes.
Jesus Claus.
Jesus Claus. Yeah, and then she later told me, well, she was thinking about telling me that she was actually Santa Claus, but I figured it out because some of the presents had her handwriting on it, so figured that one out. So at about so some big deal happened in that church, and so all of the family left the church. Even my aunt, my dad's sister, who was the piano player, and we all left that church, and we went to a couple years. We went to this just a regular old Baptist church. The choir was an actual choir, and they wore robes, you know. And my dad didn't like it. I loved it because two of my best friends went there. But no, he was he wanted to be a big fish in a small pond, not a small fish in a big pond. So we had to go to an just starting church that was in a fire hall. We had to sit on folding seats, and they had no piano player.
Comfy.
Yeah, really comfy. And at this time, I was taking gymnastics, and I was also I also was taking Latin classes before school. I think it was like 4th grade or so. And instead of teaching Latin, they would really just teach us about the Greek gods and goddesses. And I remember thinking,
how the hell is that Latin? Well, I guess.
Yeah, I know.
That's
I wanted to learn Latin.
Greek.
Yeah, let's get this over with. So I learned all about all these Greek gods and goddesses, and I think we learned about the Roman ones too. But so I was thinking, did they really believe this? Did they really worship? Meanwhile, I'm going to church every Sunday worshiping this 2,000-year-old carpenter, right?
Yeah.
It's just such a disconnect. And anyway, back to the gymnastics. I was working out one night with some older kids. I very vivid in my memory. I went out to the water fountain, and this older girl came out to the water fountain, and for some reason it must have been near, I don't even know. Okay, I don't even know why I was talking about this, but I said something about Adam and Eve, and she you believe that story? And I was like, that's the first time I heard that it might actually be a story, not real. And that just blew my mind. And then that was in the back of my head for a while. And then at 13, I really, really was questioning, like, I don't think any of this is real. I don't think God is real. And that time I just really I knew I couldn't question my dad. And I kind of would ask my mom things like, why doesn't God talk to us like he did with Adam and Eve in the garden?
And everyone else in the fucking scriptures.
Right. And she's like, that was a special time.
Yeah,
She would also say, I don't know, Audra, I grew up Presbyterian. So I was really questioning, and I was 13, and I remember just really asking God, praying and to let me know this, if he's real, and all this stuff that I had learned was real, right? Well, I had a dream, and a rabbit came to me. I don't know if it was Alice's rabbit. I don't.
I'm just gonna say, well, Alice.
So it came to me, and he's like, yes, everything that you've been taught about Jesus is real. And so I woke up going, okay. And then from then on, whenever those doubts would creep back up, I'd just think about the rabbit. I was good with the rabbit. And then when I was about 15 or 16, I met a boy.
Everything rolls downhill from there.
Yeah. Right. So this boy, he never went to church. And I was just fascinated because everyone I knew went to church. This little small town that I grew up in, everybody went to church, or knew about church at least, right? He just had no idea about anything really about the Bible. And then he was one day he was like, yeah, I used to go to a church, like a bus would pick us up, and I don't know, I think it was a Mediterranean church. I thought, oh, it was Methodist. That's what he meant to say. He said Mediterranean. Anyway, he was like my pet project then to, lead him to the Lord, right? Because at this point, the rabbit came to me and it was all real.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and then also this time, I'm kind of playing piano at church a little bit. And by the way, do you play the piano at all?
No.
Okay. So what's written in the hymnals is just bare bones what the pianists usually play. So the first time I had to play the piano for the church singing, it was just, I couldn't believe how bare it was. Like, it was like, da, 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 da. And so I had to go home and really like learn how to improvise all of that flourishes that they do.
Mm-hmm.
That's a little tidbit there. So I was this boy, and he was my pet project now, but he did what's now called epistemology on me.
Okay.
So he was very intellectual, and that's why I liked him. And he was very just unusual person. He's my baby daddy, but we split up. Anyway,
Okay.
he he would ask me questions. Oh, okay. So like, well, where is heaven? And I'm like, it's up there.
Not entirely
um,
sure.
it's I was like, oh, you don't even know? What are you talking? And I'm like, yeah, I'll look into that. And where is hell? They say it's in the center of the earth, but I don't really believe that. 'Cause that was
Yeah,
at the
good
time
luck.
that was at the time where they had those that audio of people screaming. Do you remember that? No? Do you remember it, Mikey? It was on audio. No. Okay. Well, there was audio that went around before the internet that went around to churches, and it sounded like people screaming, but apparently because they drilled down some drill rig, but apparently it was just like wind.
Oh, I do remember hearing something about this.
Yeah.
Someone had caught the voices of people burning in hell, which is
Yeah, they
loaded
said,
shit.
like, screams. Yeah.
It was a bullshit.
Yeah, I never believed that, but it kind of like sounded scary though.
Oh, sure.
And then
I can make up a track that would scare the crap out of you too.
yeah, right. True. So then he's doing this to me. He's unwittingly. I guess he was trying to talk me out of it, but I didn't feel like he was. He was just asking me questions and getting me to really, epistemology, think for myself why I believe what I believe. And he would ask me, so if you're saved, so you then automatically go to heaven when you die, right? Well, yes, as far as yes, the Baptists are concerned.
That's what I've been told.
Yeah. He's like, okay, so that's like forever? Like you can't do anything wrong after that? And no, it's permanent. Like, yeah, you'd say this prayer of whatever. And go to heaven after that.
Ah, yes, the whatever prayer.
Like, what is it called? The sinner's prayer or something?
I don't fucking know.
Etc. Etc.
And he's like, well,
Dear God, whatever.
that's great. Do you know that what is it? Is it XTC song? Dear God.
Yes.
Dear God,
Yeah.
sorry to disturb you, but it just reminded me of it.
Yeah.
So he's doing this to me, and he's like, well, so if you after you're saved, then you recant, and then you lead as many people as you can away from God. And I'm like, oh, I guess you still go to heaven. Thinking this doesn't sound right. And what about if you like kill a bunch of people? Uh, yeah, I don't know. I think so.
Well, I think then you need the "Oops, I fucked up" prayer.
Oh yeah, yeah. You just ask for forgiveness, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Right.
You do
And
all kinds of nasty shit as long as
yeah,
you ask for
yeah, it doesn't matter.
forgiveness after.
And so my grandma, just this, put a pin in this. So my grandmother, I thought like maybe after I became an atheist like 30 years ago that I would pursue like something in the community maybe, and I kept waiting for her to die. Well, she's 91 and going
Sorry.
strong.
Oh wow. Well, good
Yeah.
for her though.
Yeah, I love her to death, except for the whole religious thing. But
Yeah, well,
I can't even
we all
tell.
have our faults.
I know. I can't even tell her because I am sure it would kill her, literally.
Really?
And I don't want that on my conscience. Yeah.
Well, no, I wouldn't either, but I don't really think it would kill her, but it would
Well,
probably, she'd be pretty heartbroken, I bet you.
yeah. Yeah. And that's where I stay every time I go home to Oxford. That's where
Mm.
Oxford, Pennsylvania. And I stay with her. And
Is that where they make dictionaries?
Is that?
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Oh, the Oxford Dictionary.
That's actually the other Oxford.
There's lots of Oxfords.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. Is that Oxford, England that does it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Neil, you just made all of England very upset with you.
Well,
Blimey.
Well, interestingly enough, the town I'm from, Oxford, it's situated right in between Baltimore and Philadelphia. And at the turn of the century, before cars, it was poised to be a big city. In fact, if you see maps of the United States from that period, you'll see Oxford on it. But it's like it stood still. Like after the cars.
The land that time forgot.
Right, for real. Yeah.
There's still dinosaurs roaming the streets.
Buggy repair? Get your buggy repair?
Yeah, lots of Amish.
Kids with sticks and hoops.
Yeah, you could make it
Pogo sticks and shit.
with buggy repair for all the Amish that are there.
Buggy repair. That was great. Just an organ grinder on the corner with a little monkey roll around and shit.
Yeah.
Holy shit! What is this? Fucking 1894?
I was going for something in the 20s.
If you go into Amish land, you'd think it was in the 1800s.
Oh, probably, yeah.
Yeah.
We have them here too. We have Amishy type people and Mennonites and shit up here.
Yeah. There's
Some
whole
buggy people.
communities. My dad actually used to work in this one community where there was, you could go for hours without seeing a car.
Wow.
Yeah.
That blows my mind.
Yeah. I mean, you really, it looks like the 1800s. They dress like the 1800s. They have horse and buggies, you know.
Yeah.
But they do have solar panels, so.
Solar panels.
Yo, that's cheating. Yo, they cheating.
So at this time, I was playing the organ in church. I was a teenager. And I tried to wear the coolest skirt I could get away with, you know. I wasn't really into mini skirts so much, but just some weird, edgy skirts. And I would play the organ. And I played the organ while people were coming into the sanctuarium. And I would play songs like just really sanctimonious versions of like Boys Don't Cry and Summertime Rolls by Jane's Addiction.
Fuck, great song. Great fucking song.
Oh, I love Jane's Addiction.
Fell into a sea of rats. Anyway.
Yeah, I know. Didn't I tell you that the beginning of your song on this, the intro reminds me of Jane's Addiction?
Really?
Yeah, a little bit. I think it's just the low guitar parts. Or is it a bass? Because it was a bass.
Oh, it might sound like a little bit. I could see it sounding a little bit like the opening of Ocean Size.
Yeah.
A little bit like that.
It's one of my favorite albums. Oh my gosh.
Oh fuck! It's in my top 10.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Nothing shocking. Fuck
Yep,
yeah.
love it. And so
I still listen to it.
yeah, I know. I was singing just the other day. I was saying standing in the shower thinking about a man I know don't like me.
Yeah. Standing in the shower thinking. That's a great one.
So I just kind of Mike and I went our separate ways, and I just had this thing for him, like God laid on my heart to save his soul, right? But I knew he was bad for me. I knew he was bad for me, but God would save, he would fix it all.
Thanks, dickhead.
It's more of a Mike thing.
Oh yeah, your name is Mike. Oh, I used to call myself a Mike magnet when I went to college. It's just because it was the most popular name, for a man of our generation. So I was like, "What's your name?" A guy who would hit on me is always named Mike.
My friend had a theory that back in the day that if he saw like a big gaggle of girls together, if you screamed out Lisa, at least two of them would turn around.
Yeah, a few years later, that would have been Jennifer. Yeah.
I'm about to say Jenny.
Yeah. What'd you say?
I'm about to say, yeah, Jenny.
Yeah, Jenny. I had two best friends, both named Jennifer.
But did you got her number? Jenny, I got. No, sorry.
No, the one did not like to be called Jenny.
Oh.
She had two first cousins.
Oh,
also.
well then.
In fact,
Well, she does.
It's Jennifer. Okay.
I mean, she used to have a little, but now she's got a lot.
yeah, she's part of that generation.
She'll always be changing.
Hello. So
That's so corny.
So I was so sure that I was going to see him again without even contacting him that I bought him a Bible and had his name inscribed on it.
Wow.
Yeah. And I carried it around in my car for a year and a half.
Going on 25 years now.
And so the summer after graduation, my best friends and I went to live in my dad's beach house before he got poor.
Oh, that sucks.
My dad's beach house.
Sarcasm.
Yeah. The beach house. And it was where, I didn't meet Mike at the beach house, but I met him at the beach because he lived at the beach. Ocean City, Maryland.
Excited.
Yeah. So I was just sure God would lead him to me, right? And so I was looking for a job. Both of my friends already had jobs, and I was on the boardwalk, and I got my purse stolen and everything. And then I gave up, and I was going to work for this grocery store. And I went to the grocery store for training, and oh no, we told you the next day. And I was all bummed, and I went home, and I put on MTV, and Jeremy from Pearl Jam's playing, and I was just drowning my sorrows in ice cream probably.
Oh, fuck yeah.
And then the phone rang, and it was Jen from the boardwalk saying, "There's a help wanted sign right across from where I work." And so I jumped in my car and I got the job, and I got a really great parking space. And so I went back.
That's important.
It is important. It is. Went back to my parking space, and who's standing at my car trying to get into the
Trying to get in his goddamn Bible, Mike?
Yes, he was standing at my car. He was trying to get into a party at some where I was parked, but no, didn't know that was my car. Oh. And so we hooked back up that summer, and I gave him the Bible, and I took him to church, and it didn't stick, by the way. He was still doing the
kind of figured
epistemology on me. And then summer was over. I went to Belmont University in Nashville, Tennessee, because I wanted to be a rock star. I went to completely the wrong place to be a rock star.
I know all about that.
I studied music business because I had to know how it worked. And so I was there. The very first semester was required. It was a Baptist university. Okay.
Oh shit.
I know, it's really weird. It was half long-haired musicians and half uptight tie Bible readers studying to be preachers. And then drink.
Heard
that one was loud.
Damn. That was one of them big ass coins.
Yeah. Yeah. Mario needed 2 hands to get that one out of his pocket.
So first,
Never
It's a
mind.
Bitcoin.
Say, that's a nice big coin you got there. Sorry. I keep interrupting. I'm a bad host. Bad host.
no, it's fine. Makes it more interesting. I have to
Yeah,
keep
fair
my
enough.
train of thought.
Oh, are we having technical difficulties?
I just keep getting hypnotized by your hat. That's all I know.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that.
Don't be. It's kind of soothing.
Mesmerizing.
At least it wasn't my kaleidoscope goggles I had.
Oh, don't
Oh,
Like this. and
maybe
this.
for the
cool.
after show.
The coolest
Under my
glasses I have are these fucking things, but everyone's seen them already.
Ooh. What does it look
Thug
like?
life glasses. Huh?
Does it look like weird when you're looking through them?
No, not really.
Oh.
You can. I mean, I can see the little white things, but you can
Uh-huh.
actually kind of just see past them.
Oh, okay. Whoa.
I'm gonna wear those to brunch tomorrow with my mom and see what she thinks.
You definitely need to get her a pair.
Oh, totally.
I had 2 pair. I give one to Randolph because we're gonna
Get
wear
2
them on the
more.
show. They're dirt cheap, man. They're like $2 a pair, right? So
You need to get a picture with your mom wearing those.
Oh, that'd be great.
That would be so sweet.
Print it out. Show it to us.
yeah,
So-
we'll see.
So here we are at Belmont University, freshman year. It's required to take the history of the Old Testament and history of the New Testament.
Oh boy, I'm sorry.
And we had to go to chapel every Wednesday. That was even worse because my freshman year, it was all preachers. It changed after my freshman year. But anyway, so I took history of the Old Testament. And this professor who taught it wasn't a preacher. He was a religious studies person. So professor. So he taught it without dogma, you know. So he would point out things in the Old Testament that kind of contradicted the other things. And I was like,
Oh, it's lots of them.
yeah.
One of the funniest things about the Old Testament is the 5 books of Moses. Moses writes about his own death, which I think is fucking
the
hysterical.
afterlife, right?
Yeah, but how's he? I thought one of the things that just blows me away is, oh well, you know, they're immaterial. Well, then they don't exist in this reality because you have to be material to exist in this fucking reality.
Right.
It's like what?
Uh-huh.
Fucking morons. Anyway,
Right. So I actually had, in high school, I had read the Bible in my room to myself, and it took months, you know. I was a pretty slow reader. Oh, speaking of which, when I was a kid, I had to read out loud in Sunday school passages from the King James Version, okay? And it was all this like names of places that were like, they had phonetic spell, and I just would trip over it constantly. And I had myself convinced that I could not read out loud. That was
really?
Yes. And I was like in the accelerated programs in school. Like I finally got over that, you know, like in high school. But anyway, so I read the book, the Bible. It was like not the King James version, which I felt like a rebel doing. Yeah.
This is the new international version, the NIV, as it's
I
called.
think it was. I think it was. And actually,
the new idiot version.
I think that might have been one of the reasons my dad didn't like to go to that regular Baptist church, because they
regular Baptist.
Yeah, I know.
What do they know?
Exactly.
We're the right version of Christianity out of the 30,000 plus versions. Come on.
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah, definitely. If you're not a Southern Baptist, according to Mammal, you are not going to heaven. So sorry, everybody.
Heaven must be pretty empty.
Unless you were a Southern Baptist and you got saved, then you will. So apparently I'm going to heaven. I'm pretty proud of that.
So scandalous.
Okay, so I was in my room reading it, and I didn't really pick up on this, the things that contradicted each other because it took me so long to read it. But I do remember reading, oh, the writing on the wall that comes from the Bible? Huh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Writing on the wall.
Yeah, I was surprised too. There's some passage in the Old Testament that there's a story,
The writing on the wall. Right,
Yeah,
right.
you see the writing on the wall, right?
Yeah, that's where that expression comes from. I
Yeah.
never knew that.
Yeah, I didn't know it either. So,
Sharp like a marble.
I thought it was from the band Under Oath.
Yeah,
Oh.
right?
yeah, that too. Hang on.
Yeah, hang on. Need more gin.
Yep, more gin. Fuel. So, I started going, because I, of course, had always heard that it was the inerrant word of God, right? But still, I'm thinking it
It's
can't.
pretty errant.
It can't possibly be. And in high school, when I had in the church we went to where I was playing organ, there was a Sunday school teacher, and she was really charismatic, but she was into all these like weirdo theories, like numerology in the Bible, how you add up certain things and it equals this. And she was way into end times prophecy, and she had something about how the horoscopes, it was a story of Jesus or something, and it ends in
Horoscopes?
Leo. Yeah, the signs of the cosmology. What is the signs of the
Astrology?
astrology? Yeah,
Cosmology. Astrology's not even close to cosmology.
It's either the gin or the rain tumor. Okay, so yeah, she was always into that stuff, and I was thinking to myself, well, even back then I was like, well, where did this Bible even come from? Who wrote it, and how did it? So I was always like kind of thinking about that. And when I got to college, I was getting serious. I was like, okay, I need to really figure out why I believe this. And so I don't think I should get a book from the Bible store. I think I should get it from the mall. I have the least amount of dogma.
I hear those mall Bibles are a lot more fun now. So,
No,
and they have coupons in the back for the food court, right? Something like that.
Yeah, totally.
And discounts for the Gap and other nice, boring clothing stores.
Get yourself,
but not for that damn Hot Topic though. Fuck them.
Ooh, I love Hot Topic.
Get yourself a nice slice of Sbarro down at the food court. On Jesus.
Get some Jesus chips.
Hot Topic is still around.
Is it really?
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
Spencer's is too, but it's completely different.
I shopped at Hot Topic back in the day. I got a bunch of shirts from there. Yeah.
That's like 80% of my wardrobe, probably still today.
Hot Topic.
Like Hot Topic-esque shirts, like band t-shirts. Yeah. My whole brand of dress is Hot Topic from like 2004.
Okay. Cool.
Nice.
Never changed.
Well, you'll come back in style. You might even be
They carry Dickies too, which is cool.
Love Dickies. We're in some right now.
What
My
are
winter
they?
coat is a nice Dickies. Dickies.
Oh yeah, Dickies in the mall. Dickies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the clothing brand. It's some of it's work related, some of it's just like industrial-esque.
Like the work pants, they got like it's like a, what is that, a canvas? Like they're like more of like a canvas.
Kind of, yeah.
E.
It's a heavier denim, I think, cotton denim type thing.
Okay.
I got a few Dickie shirts.
Cool.
Anyway, there you go, Dickies. A little shout out for you.
Dickies.
This episode brought to you by our friends at Dickies.
So Quill says it can't be coupons for the Gap in the back of the Bible because they sell pants for women, the heathens.
Ooh.
Oh. Can't have that. Can't have that.
So I went to the mall and I got a book. I think it was called The Life of Jesus. Actually, this was at home when I went to
We think? Did it have a caveat of we think?
No.
Oh, okay.
But it was more of the historical Jesus without all the
right.
Yeah, historical, whatever.
I like how you use those, the historical.
Historical. So it was like without dogma at all. It was definitely without the supernatural. So then I'm just like, huh, okay. And then I was at home for Christmas break, and my dad, who was still going to church heavily, like into it. They were like Sunday night, Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night. I always tried to get out of Sunday night and Wednesday night. I would conveniently be over to a friend's house. But anyway, so I was home, and I said to him completely naively, right? Dad, I was thinking that our church should have like a library with all sorts of books. People can read and they can figure out what they believe themselves. He's like, I thought for sure he was going to go, that's a great idea. I'm going to go talk to the pastor.
Bum, 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 and he walks away.
No.
But no, he locked you in your bedroom.
But no, not that time.
Nailed the cross to the door.
No. He was like, absolutely not. We are sheep, and we are to do what our pastor tells us.
Wow.
And I'm like thinking to myself, I'm not a sheep.
Dad.
You're bad sheep.
Stop. Damn it.
So that Christmas day, okay, we went over to his friend's house, who is a former pastor. And I got my very own sermon on Christmas Day. Just me in a room. And all I remember saying was, well, our country was founded on Christian values, or
no, it wasn't.
I was like, actually, our founders were mostly deists. And he goes, where did you hear that? The history books? Like as if all history books are skewed away from Christianity, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, actually, it was from a pamphlet from the First Baptist Church of Nashville. He was like, well, I'd like to see that. Yeah. And then after that, I learned to keep my mouth shut.
Yeah. If you want a kid to love Jesus, ruin their Christmas with personal sermon. Good call.
Yeah, and then so I went back to Nashville, and I just started reading any sort of history of Christianity book I could get my hands on. I was just like thirsty for it, And I don't know how long it was, but it was about maybe a year later, I finally was like, I don't think I believe in Jesus anymore.
Okay, he believes in you.
And I was like, I felt that sinking feeling like there's a lightning bolt gonna hit me any minute now,
Yeah.
But after that, it's slowly like the fear of hell, and really I have the fear of my mamaw still. But it went away. And then after a while, I got less and less interested in the books, And then
that happens.
Mike came back into town. Actually, we reconnected. He drove across town. That's my baby daddy, Mike. Oh, I already told you that.
Mm-hmm.
And we hooked back up. We moved in. That's when my band was doing really well. And then it didn't do well. And then he convinced me to leave Nashville. And so we started a family. And we moved to Pittsville, Maryland, very unfortunately named town. And we had
Pittsville?
Yeah.
Wow. This place is the pits.
Yeah,
that's wide open for fucking ridicule.
Yes, absolutely. And then we had a child, Quinn. He's 17 now. And I had a brain tumor. I had a seizure in the middle of the night, and I had a brain tumor.
Oh, shit.
Removed. And that is why I wear hats. I don't have a whole lot of hair up here.
Right, because of the operation.
Incision. The incision right. Went like here. You can't grow hair.
Right.
Incision in your head. And then I also had radiation from here forward. But I like my head, so it's fine. So then I believe after my brain tumor, and
I believe.
You know what used to bug the shit out of me? When people would sing what is that Bette Midler song? Oh, God is watching us in church. Because I'm like, that is not a religious song. That is not a religious song. Because the first verse is like, from a distance, the world is blue and green, and the mountains and blah, 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 blah. From distance.
Blah, blah, blah. I remember those lyrics.
There's peace and there's harmony. And then they're saying God is watching us from a distance.
Yeah. Yeah. He's over in the Andromeda galaxy, apparently, right now. He's setting up another world, I think, or something.
So he doesn't know all the shit that's going on.
No, he's got his back turned right now.
Yeah, I know. That's what this song is.
How do you think Trump got elected?
We don't talk about the before times.
Yeah.
It's been rough down here.
And so we got into, I guess, we started when I had my brain surgery afterward. It was a recovery process, and we started watching a lot of documentaries. And one of the documentaries was called, it was about peak oil. I can't remember what it was called now. Do you know anything about peak oil?
Peak oil?
Yeah, a little bit.
Peak oil. It's the theory that we've discovered all the big oil reserves, and it's peaked in the 70s, and it's just going to go downhill. And then
except that they keep finding more. So
so anyway, he was totally sold on that. And so he was just like, and I think it had to do with, me and my brain tumor and just throwing our successful business aside. We moved to a plot of land that his mom owned and lived off the land. Yeah.
Well, so, kind of a go off grid thing, right?
Yeah, kind of, but we had electricity.
Oh, that's okay. You need power.
Yeah, so I think so we had another child, and then he, little by little, he would like cut off people in my life, and tell me, don't read that. It's only going to make you this, and don't read that, and don't go there, and So after a while, I literally, in retrospect, by the time I left, I thought I couldn't do anything. Like, my self-esteem was so low. Meanwhile, I can learn anything from a YouTube video. And he would always go, wow, you can do that. Like, I learned how to do carpentry. I learned how to do upholstery. I learned how to code. I mean, I'm not someone who can't do stuff. And I try to do stuff. I was trying to write, which is actually how I got back into the atheism thing, because it was the story of my deconversion through that summer. But anyway, so he was, he like totally told me I couldn't do that. I was a bad writer and I was a bad mother. And so by the end of this 19 years, I felt like I was just worthless, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he kicked me out. And I was just devastated because my family lives 2.5 hours away.
Mm-hmm.
And his family's here. And then he kicked me out when I was in Pennsylvania, but via a text. And then he had the kids. Anyway, I figured.
Holy fuck. What?
I figured I was in a cult of one.
Yeah.
I think I was. I mean, we were doing the whole homesteading thing and everything. Living off the land isn't like stereotypical. Right?
What the fuck? What?
I know, and he didn't want me to do music anymore, although I was pretty heartbroken over it. But he didn't want me to do anything creative. He just wanted me to do what he wanted me to do. And afterwards, I was just, and he kept the kids, and I had to kind of fight for the kids. But my son, he brainwashed my 2 kids, and my daughter, though, who was younger, she would go with me, but equal time. She's very fair, equal time.
Mm-hmm.
And but my son, no, he wouldn't. He's 17 now, like I said, and he's so brilliant. But finally, so I had to move to this tiny. We built our own house. I helped him in all of my funds, all of our funds. I invented a product called the hip clip with his sister. And all of that money and everything we did, we poured into this land and building and everything. And
Cool.
and he just pulled the plug on it all. And his sister, of course, just like she tricked me. And so anyway, I got kicked out of this house that I helped build, literally.
Wow.
And I had a part-time job working for another upholsterer. And I had to find somewhere to live. And luckily, my aunt had a place in Ocean City. It was wintertime, so it was vacant. And then when springtime came, the season came, I had to find another place to live. Of course, I had prepared and was looking, but every single thing fell through into where I had to stay at a friend's house for a couple weeks. And then I got this little tiny apartment in this little tiny town. It's a really cool town. It's called the coolest small town in America. Berlin. Yeah. So it's like a cartoon of an artisan's town.
Interesting.
Like one little strip, fancy buildings, cool restaurants, and then nothing.
Just abyss.
Yeah. So that's yeah. So I started my upholstery business because I didn't have a job that could support me. So I started it, and it was going well. And then Irie came over, and then we went to the ocean. It was in the summer, and she was really enjoying the ocean. Okay, even though she came back and said, "Mom, it's really, really rough out there." I was like, "Well, you don't have to swim." I was like, no, I want to. And because she was with her friend, and her friend's mom was sitting right beside me. We were friends too. And so she was swimming, and we're just talking. And then the lifeguard, he calls for he's going to go off duty. So he calls for everybody to come out of the ocean like they do. And once everybody's out of the ocean, then he takes his lifeguard guard stand down. Like he actually pulls it down. It's wooden. So he knocks it over, and pulls it away. And then at that point, it's up to you whether you want to take the risk yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so Irie goes, she's 10 at the time. She goes, "Mom, can I go back in?" And I'm like, as long as you don't drown.
Yeah, try not to do that.
Try not to drown. Well, maybe about 5 minutes later, saw Veda doing this. And Irie's out further than her. And apparently she was in trouble.
Oh, boy.
So without thinking, I just dropped everything. And I was like, I can swim. I'm fine. I'll be fine. I got, luckily, 2 other taller people were actually out in the ocean near her. So they saw she was in trouble too, but they were going toward her. But I got maybe, 16 feet to her, and I couldn't touch the bottom anymore. So obviously she wasn't touching the bottom. And I got swept away by a rip tide, a rip current. And I was like, okay, I know what to do. I know you swim sideways, no problem. So I swam sideways, and that didn't work.
It depends on the curl, right? The undercurrents.
Yeah. And so I'm like, well, maybe it's the other sideways, otherwise.
Sideways.
That didn't work either.
Why does it work for the damn crabs, but not me?
Exactly. Meanwhile, I'm short enough to where I'm treading water and waves are still crashing on me.
Wow.
Right? And
That'd be freaking.
I was just like, okay. And then I was like, okay. And I was suddenly just felt my legs get so tired. And then I was like, okay, this is how a healthy person who can swim drowns. I've always wondered. In the meanwhile, I saw her. She was being rescued. And she's like, she goes, somebody help my mom. And I remember thinking, oh my God, if I die here, she is going to blame herself for the rest of her life.
Yeah.
So then I said a prayer. No, I didn't really. That was a joke.
And then she pulled out her cape. And she was Wonder Woman all along.
Yes. So then I turned to my back trying to save some energy. Meanwhile, waves are just crashing down on me. And
spoiler alert, she gets saved by a mermaid.
That's right. It was just some random middle-aged dude with a flotation device, smarter than me, of course. He comes out and he's like, get my hand, and it was just like the movies where it's like, you barely reach.
Camera zooms in to two hands, just barely get there, and then all of a sudden, whoop!
Right? Yeah, slipped. Oh no, you're farther away. No, yeah. So he dragged me in. He and I guess it was his wife. But oh my God! And so I hadn't written a song in 15 years.
Oh wow!
And I was really just, that was rock bottom for me. And then all of a sudden, like, all of the songs just came to me. And I was like, no, I'm not writing you. I'm not going through that again. No. And he's like, yes, you are. No. So I ended up writing it. Yeah. I was like, that's the only one though. No, I kept writing. And then it became joyful for me. It used to be like squeezing a rock out of my butt.
That dude definitely waited his whole life to say, take my hand.
So yeah, and then there was an open mic across the street, and I just started playing there again, and I got back into it, and that's cool. How Madam Who was born. And but then I it was just a few years later even that I love Seth Andrews. In fact, I got on his show yesterday. Called in. Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah. I did before.
Tell me you were coming on here.
No, I didn't, because he releases it like in 2 weeks. So I just felt
yeah, that's right. He does too. Because
yeah, it's a pop-up show, and I just happened to. Anyway, I did get him before, but he played one of my songs. I didn't expect him to. I just let him know that he was the inspiration for me to take this route with my music, the atheist route, or humanist, really is what I call myself, a humanist music artist. Because he had somebody call in, and she was just like, yeah, where are there any music artists, atheists? And he's like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. I was like, that's what I'm going to do. And so it gave me a direction, and I just wanted to call and thank him, because he also always says, as a lot of people do, that you are not alone, right? So, and that I wrote a song based on that.
And you got about, I think, 9 tunes on your website that are professionally done or whatever. So.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I do them myself, but yeah.
They're pretty good quality, man. I gotta tell you, do a good job.
Thank you. Thanks. Yeah, it's You Were Not Alone. And then I had an old song that I was never happy with. One of my favorite old songs. I was never happy with the last line, and I changed it to
fuck Jesus. No.
Yeah, it's Jesus. No. It was, and it's all about my friends and all their strange little quirks and everything. It's called Strange and Beautiful. And at the very end, it used to go, and Eddie, right before we quit the band, what I never will understand, but everybody wears their own shape strange, so don't change, you're beautiful. So instead, I was never happy with that one. So instead it goes, and me, I don't believe in any gods. I know that probably sounds pretty odd, but everybody wears their own shape strange, so don't change,
Better.
Beautiful. Yeah, a lot better. So anyway, and then I wrote, I'm just saying. I had that, and it's about thoughts and prayers. I got really annoyed with thoughts and prayers.
So Tons of Mice wants to know if anyone shaves to your songs.
I'll start.
Don't know. You can.
Somebody shaved to one of mine, so that's why he asked that.
Oh, okay.
He made a video about it too. Yeah,
nice.
I don't get it, but hey, I'll take it.
Yeah. Right.
By the way, Carol 406 Atheist. And it says, awesome singing.
Thanks.
Is that your cousin?
My cousin?
Maybe.
What?
No, Neil.
I'm 604. She's 406.
Oh.
It's got to be a connection there somewhere.
Yeah.
0.
And Kira J says, sweet voice.
Oh, thanks. Well, so, that's
I
just,
agree.
I had always wanted to be in the atheist community some way, and I'm totally not a YouTuber because I could do 1 or 2 episodes, but then I just wouldn't be able to keep up the schedule. It's just not me. Like I can't do a regular schedule. It would bore me to tears.
Really?
Yes. Like
I
mine.
like doing these.
What?
I like doing these.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, if I could just do them when I wanted to do them, but I know in order to be successful, you have to do it regularly. That's what I'm saying. I would love to.
Yeah, it does. Doing it regularly is good, but sometimes shit happens, and I end up, we had some shit happen last week where I had to skip an episode, right? So it does happen.
Yeah. So I would run out of material unless I did deconversion stories, but you already do them, and what's another one? No, it's just, and Oz does them, and which I'm going to be on his show next Wednesday.
Are you?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Actually, I was going to do the Better event. I was going to sing at it when it was last year, but it got rescheduled, and I'm not sure I could do it now.
You mean the one that the event that he's putting on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to. They're rescheduling it for sometime, I think, in May.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Mikey and I are trying to be there. We're gonna try and go there. If
crash
that
in the
doesn't
party.
happen, if that doesn't happen, then I'm just gonna go to Chicago and hang out with Mikey.
And then we'll just drive down to Oz's house, and then we'll demand a show.
or our money back. One or the other.
Give me a show. You move the cars out of the garage. Get your damn fog machine. Let's go. Got speakers around here somewhere.
And actually, I have a song half written called "Don't Drink the Kool-Aid," inspired by Holy Kool-Aid.
I know someone that would like that.
Yeah, and
what?
I had a really good chorus, but I just couldn't get the verses for some reason. And so I asked Oz if he could help me. And so he said he would, and I sent him the files, and that was like 2 weeks ago. I haven't heard from him, but it's all right.
He's locked himself in the bathroom writing.
He's on the show all the time. I don't even know when he could have time to.
I know. He's a pretty busy guy. And now he's got to make Jenna happy too. So.
Yeah.
Right. So. Yeah. Well.
Sorry.
We are overtime.
Oh.
Yeah, we've gone over by like almost 10 minutes here.
Oh my gosh. Well, can you still play one of my songs? I
was about to say, I got the song queued up here.
I'm thinking that's how we're going to end out the show today. I think we're going to play one of your tunes. All right. And then we'll get into an after party. And maybe we can play another one after that. In the after party. Be kind of cool. Because I think you got some pretty good shit. So
nice.
Well, let's hold on, dude. Before we do that, okay. Yeah, there you go. But before we get into the tune, because we'll have the tune, we'll just play it out, and then we'll get into the after party. But before we do the tune and stuff, whatnot, Madam Who, thank you very much for being my guest.
Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure having you on.
Thank you, Mikey.
You're such a shining light in a dismal time. I got to tell you. That.
Thank you,
Mikey. Thank you. He's trying to mumble over my accolades here. Mikey, you're awesome, buddy, and thank you for everything you do. And I just sent another payment to you. So
hey, it's Liddy.
Thank everyone in the chat. Hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. I certainly did. And thank all my patrons. You guys are amazing. I love you guys. Without you, the show really is nothing. So I appreciate everything that you and everyone there in the chat on a regular basis do for the show. All the other links to the other garbage that I do is down below in the description box, so you can check that stuff out. Well, all the other fun things that I do on occasion is all down in the description box below. But you know what they all sound like. We'll leave the stingers for the after party one. But this time we're going to have a song by my wonderful guest, Madam Who, carry us out. And if you are interested in being in the after party, please let myself or Mikey know, and we can get you linked up, and you can jump in here with us and have some more fun.
All right, bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Okay, our faces gonna be on because I can lip sync?
Oh yeah, our faces are going to be on.
All right, I'll lip sync.
Oh, hold on. I got you. I got it.
I'm hitting the mute button. So there you go. So Mikey and I'll mute, and you can do this. Yeah.
God is great, God is good. Let's all praise Him like we should. God is great, God is good. Let us praise Him like we should. God is good, let us praise Him like we should. God is great, God is good. Let us praise Him. If I say, hey, I'm going in for taste, hoping for the best. Someone will say, hey, I'm hoping for that too. Here's what I can do. Send my thoughts and prayers. They are aware that it does as much good as knocking on wood. Just because you believe, it doesn't mean it is real. I'm just saying, if you're just praying, you're not swaying anything. And when they say, hey, oh, here's an update, things are looking great. Someone will say, hey, oh, God is so good. I knew that He would. Hold you in His healing hands. They don't understand it was the doctors who they should give credit to. But just because you believe, it doesn't mean it is real. I'm just saying, you're just praying, you're not swaying anything. God is omniscient, I don't think He's missing whatever you are praying for. And if there's a perfect plan, then I don't understand how a prayer can do something more. I'm just saying, I'm just saying. God, you're great, God, you're good. I tell all my friends like I should that you are loved and I love you, and that they all should love you too, cause you are awesome, you're the best. I never put you to the test, but can you show them that you're real and let my friend be healed? Hello?
We're sorry.
God?
Reached a number that has been disconnected or is no longer in service.
Thoughts and prayers that go nowhere. You might as well be casting a spell. Just because you believe, it doesn't mean it is real. I'm just saying, if you're just praying, you're not swaying anything. And if God is omniscient, maybe He isn't all powerful, doesn't care. And He let so many suffer with disease and hunger, despite the many thoughts and prayers. I'm just saying, I'm just saying. God is great, God is good. Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Well, that was cool. I like it. That was awesome. And you did a great job with the lip syncing too. I was like, wow, is that really her? Wait, no, she's recording. What am I talking about?
Yeah, it was me on the recording, but
Yeah, of course. Yeah, they're really cool. I like that. Yeah, I'm
thanks.
just saying. Yeah, bopping along and shit. Yeah, it's great. All right, guys, that's it. We're going to wrap this one up. We are doing the after party, so we will see you then. There is a link to it in the description box below, so you can head on over and wait for us. We are taking a bit of a break, and we'll be with you shortly.
AdamHere.com.
Yeah, it's also all those links
Oh,
are down there
it's
below. You can stalk her on Twitter. You can follow her on her own personal website, and I put her YouTube link there so you can actually see some of her other tunes that she has videos for.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Till next time, like I always say at the end of these interviews, like the late great Christopher Hitchens once said, it's called faith because it's not knowledge. We'll see you guys next time. I'm just ending it. We already had the tune, so we'll just see you guys next time.
Bye.